Okay, so now we move to the next commandment. Commandment number 9, all right? Commandment number 9. Now actually, we just go through very quickly before we forget. It's very important that we have clear in our minds the 10 commandments. Commandment number 1. Grace. Jennifer, what is commandment number 1? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Commandment number 1. All right. In fact, when you go through the 10 commandments, you think about it carefully. It'll be interesting how God summarizes the 10 commandments. So commandment number 1, thou shalt have no other gods before him. All right. Now, what's commandment number 2? Yan Wei, commandment number 2. Say again. No idols. Okay, you want to try Mandarin? There are 2 parts. Or there are 2 parts. No. Good. Don't make any graven images. Not bow and? The most common thing that we do. Don't serve him. Don't bow, don't serve. Now, so it's very important we understand the second commandment. Don't make, don't bow, don't serve. But is it only physical idols? Obviously not. Right? Many of these idols, men make it into physical things, but it's a problem in the heart. Okay, idols in the heart. So your idol can be your children, your idol can be your spouse, your idol can be your family, your idol can be your studies, your idol can be someone, your idol can be your job, right? So those are idols, not just the physical ones we see in temples. We will bow, we will serve them. How do you know that you're breaking the second commandment? You put these things before God. They're more important to you than God, all right? Commandment number 3, very quickly. Mabel. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. So we should not say, oh my God. Many people say that all the time. At the children's program, many of the children that came, although they are supposed to be Christians, some of them, but they use it all the time. Why? Because we fail to teach the children. So words like that. But what's the most common thing that we do in breaking commandment number 3? Vincent? By not living a right life. How does not living a right life break commandment number 3? Very good. We take the name of Christ upon our names, right? We are Christians. We are Christians. When the Christians do not live holy and godly life, we take the name of God in vain. Even parents always say that. Please remember, we are the Lu family. Do you tell your children, Alex? We are the Lu family. Don't put our name to shame. So we belong to Christ. We are the Christian family. Don't put Christ's name to shame by our living. So it's not just using those words alone. Number 4, quickly. Number 4. What's commandment number 4, Susan? Say again. Remember the Sabbath. You missed a very important word. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. All right. Most Christians say, remember the Sabbath morning. That's about it. Remember the Sabbath day. It is the day that the Lord set apart, the entire day, to worship, serve the Lord. Number 5. Keziah, number 5. Honor thy father and thy mother. All right, we've been studying that, so we'll continue today also. Number 6. Adrian. Thou shalt not kill. Anyone kill anyone here before? Have you committed sin against commandment number 6? We have. How? How, Angeline? How? When you hate someone, Christ defined murder as hatred in the heart. If until today you have not forgiven someone, you still hate the person, then God says you are constantly breaking commandment number 6 all the time. That's why God says, now you want to come and pray to me, you go and solve these things with your brother first. So Christians can be committing murder all the time. Unforgiving spirit in the heart, still holding on to those things. Number 7. Hannah. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Anna, all right? Is committing adultery just a physical act? Is it only when you commit the physical act? Yes, and Anna, yes. When you lust in your heart, right? It begins in the heart. So be careful of what you see, what you think about. No one knows that you're committing this, okay? No one knows. But God sees your heart. God knows. So be very careful. Number 6, number 7. Number 8. Natalie, number 8. Thou shalt not steal. Okay, we learned what is stealing. Do Christians steal? We also steal all the time. It's not just about physical shoplifting. Example of stealing, Ignatius. The Christians do all the time. Steal time away from God. Okay, yes. Steal time from company, right? You don't do a proper job. You are shortchanging the company. You're stealing from the company. Taxes, not filling honestly. Doing business dishonestly. So all these are stealing. And the worst thing is we steal from Ignatius. Steal from Ignatius. The worst thing is when we steal from, not that the worst are, but we commonly also steal from government. We said, which is the most important government? Okay. Why God? How do we steal from God? Offerings, tithe and offerings. The Lord says, you steal from me. So be very careful of that. Now we come to number 9. Okay, number 9. Let's read together. BBK Books, page 46. Reading together. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Very good. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Now, in the BBK book, let's see, honesty is the best policy. So the old saying goes, and we know that even the world understands that. Now, our speech should be yea and yea, nay, nay. Means what you say is, when you say yes, it is yes. When you say no, it is no. All right, don't be double-tongued. Now, anything more than this is evil. Let us be clear in our conscience when we come to our communication. Now, what are examples of lying? Bear false witness. Bearing false witness is lying. Okay, lying in the sight of God, lying against thy neighbor. Now, so young person, do you lie? Did you do your homework? Yes, but you weren't doing your homework. In the room, you're playing with your computer games. All right, faced away from parents, you're chatting with your friends. You tell your parents, I'm doing my homework. All right. Now, those are open and obvious lies. But what do you think is a very common sin in Christians also when it comes to breaking this? You say, no, I do not tell lies. When I speak honestly to everyone, but there is a common misunderstanding about lying. What do you think it is? We covered it a lot in our family camp last year. Very good. White lies. All right. White lies, red lies. What are white lies? White lies are when Christians think it's okay because if I tell this lie, I will protect someone. I will protect someone. After all, the end result is the most important thing. So should you do that? Well, God makes it very clear. Just do not lie. White lies are also lies. It does not matter. Now, I ask you, if someone is in trouble, or maybe put it the other way, you want to serve God, okay? But in order to serve God, you need to lie. I'll give you an example. When I came to Perth, and I had to apply for my permanent residency, right? PR. And for me to get PR here is extremely difficult because I was then 50 years old. So there is a 50, very difficult. And on top of that, I was not out of my cancer period of 5 years, although it's cured. But to them, they say, wow, with this is very difficult. Now, and some say, well, never mind, just change, just don't have to be so honest. Just say something else. And feel it this way, submit it this way. We need a pastor. We need you to stay. Ignatius, what should I do? If you were me, what should you do? Do the right thing. But then after that, you cannot serve God. No, you probably have to go home. Then serve in Singapore, lor. But the church here has no pastor. Singapore, a lot of pastors. They can always send someone else. Are you so important that you must lie? So no matter what, do not lie. Even if you think the outcome is so important to God's work. You think God cannot overcome the difficulties? Who created this universe? Him. How did He create this universe? He just spoke and things came into existence. So the Christian must never ever lie. God will not bless if you lie. Like Ignatius rightly pointed out, if it is not God's will, you go home. If it's not God's will to be in that company, you won't work in that company. You don't have to lie on your resume. So many Christians like to lie on the resume. So some of you are going to come out to work, some of you are going to apply for universities. Be factual, be honest. So white lies, white lies. Now what about other lies? Distortion. Look at your BPK book. Distortion. Exaggeration is very common, right? We exaggerate things, even in very normal conversation. Wow, you know, that day I went fishing. Then I caught this fish that was 20 feet long. But it was only like nowhere close. And then your wife said, hey, what's 20 feet? You know, we exaggerate. We like to exaggerate to make ourselves good. So exaggeration is also very common. So sometimes we exaggerate, just say, oh no, I think I exaggerated. Correct ourselves quickly. Okay? Exaggeration is lying. It's to make ourselves look good. Children like to exaggerate to parents also, right? So exaggeration, be careful. Giving false impression is another. Giving false impression. Pretending to be something, but it is not the true situation. Now all these things are lying, so the Christian must really examine our lives. We do not outrightly lie very often, but I think these are so common in our lives. So common in our lives. Actually, like we studied at the family camp. Who remember what is red lie? Was it red? I think it was red. It was a new definition. So there's white lie. White lie, well, it doesn't harm anyone. Even if it doesn't harm anyone, sin is against God, right? So say, yeah, I exaggerate 20 feet fish. Who does it harm? It is still a lie. Grey lie. Grey lie is it does someone good. It does someone good. Young ones, your younger sister get in trouble. Mommy is going to cane them. So I shall lie. It's a grey lie. I protect my young one. Should not, right? Should not. So grey lie is, well, by and large people say grey lie if it helps someone. If it helps someone. If it helps God especially. Red lie. What is red lie? Who remembers? Ben Khan. Do you remember what's red lie? I think it was red. Very good. Red lies. So people now have a new definition. Red lie, you remember this definition, don't bear false witness against your neighbor. Against your neighbor. You tell lies to character assassinate someone. Phoebe, if you break something at home, then mommy comes into the room, daddy comes into the room. Who did that? You look at Elisha, that is red lie. all right? Accusing someone. At work also, Christian can be very guilty of that. At work, you know, you did something and it became a problem. What should you do? So some people try to cover up, tell white lies, and when it gets very difficult, they begin to tell red lies. No, I think it's because someone else did this, that's why this happened. Or eventually you're caught, no, it's still not my fault, it's because the other person did something. Just admit. The Christian must remember commandment number 9. Just admit, I'm the one who did it. I shared this many times. We had to fire, when I was working, I had to fire employees. I've seen this in customers' places also. They had to fire employees because when they did something wrong, they cover up. And then they start to accuse someone. And eventually the truth comes out. Just admit. Just admit. You get fired, you get fired. You did not getting fired is not as scary as breaking God's commandment. Okay, young person, remember that. If you do not know, you did not know your exam questions, don't copy. Copy is lying. Why is copy lying? Anna. Okay, ask students. Why is copying lying? Say again? Because it is not your work. It is someone else's work. Someone else's remembrance. Someone else's answer. So when you do your homework, please do not plagiarize. Please do not copy. Please do not use someone else's work. Be very careful. I know down here you have this big temptation against commandment number 9 for school students. I find it very interesting. You can go for an exam in the morning, right? And then a whole other group of people can go for an exam in the afternoon, is it? A test, on another time, and it's the same set of questions. Someone recently went around texting the question to other people, right? And then got in trouble in school. So when you are a student, maybe other students also, someone told you, hey, I know the exam questions, I know the test questions. Jennifer, if someone tells you, Jennifer, I know the test questions, and I've sent it to you, what are you going to do? Because copying is lying, right? Should be honest. Then what should you do? Don't what? Don't look at it. Don't look at it. How best not to look at it? Throw away your phone into the toilet bowl so that you won't pick it up ever again. How? Delete the message. Delete it straight away. All right, get rid of it. Don't tempt yourself with it. Now I want to say a testimony because it happened recently, as I understand it. That is what happened in one of the situation in one of our worshipper. The friends somehow got hold of the questions, and then they group up, and then they say, now this is how we're going to cheat in the exams. And this student, remember that this is lying, this is dishonesty, this is stealing. And then she also did not have time to study. And she decided to say, I will just obey God. I will not be part of this whole thing. I will not be part of this whole thing. In fact, that was, I think it was a very difficult paper. And she said, I will just obey God. I'd rather not do well or even fail than to sin against the living God. And guess what? At the end, in the whole group, I think she got the highest mark among all. Right? So Christian must want to honor God, to obey God at all costs. So I say, all right, so from now onwards, I'll be like that, very honest. And then your exam results not so good. How? How? Or you at work, you're very honest, all right? Remember, people, do not steal someone else's credit. If your colleague did a good job, it's his project, it's his presentation, make sure you do not steal glory. Very common at work, right? Very, very common. Everyone trying to fight for promotion, so they try to take credit from you. Or you try to take credit from them. So when you come out and work or when you're working, the same. This is stealing. This is bearing false witness. Okay, so do not pretend. Especially, wow, the person is not around. I'll tell boss, you know, this, I thought of this, and this one, all these results because of my hard work. It's very tempting to do that, right? Especially you do little bit in there. Say, know what? I was involved. Really, Pastor, I was involved. Really, boss, I was involved. But a small part. A small part. That's all. So be very honest. Be very honest. So what happens in the end? Didn't get promotion. Results also no good. I should have just stopped listening to silly pastor. Just go and take those papers and look at it. Then I would have gotten better results. Then when my results is good, I glorify God, right? I glorify God with good results. See, I got good results. I glorify God. Never mind, no one knew. But you see, because of my good results, I glorify God. So when you don't get good results, how? It does not matter. Obeying God is simply about making God pleased with you. It is not about what is the outcome. The 10 Commandments is all about pleasing God. Do not break any commandment in order to bring glory to God. Do not do that. Alright, so even if your results are no good, in God's eyes, you scored what? 110 marks. Okay? You may get 50 marks in the eyes of the world, but you were honest to God, 110 marks. So young people, honesty is the most important thing because God sees. God sees and God knows. The whole thing about keeping the 10 Commandments is about pleasing God. That's all. Not about results, about pleasing God. Now, commandment number 9 and be truthful. I want to say another thing about commandment number 9. Now, we studied in great detail in Westminster Confession of Faith about one thing, and I think husbands, wives, church members, we often break commandment number 9. How? Let me ask husbands. Deacon Eugene, how do we break commandment number 9 as husbands? Wife, on my way home. I'm on my way home, but still not on the way home. Say again? Don't tell your wife the truth. Okay? How does a husband break, or how does a husband break this commandment? How does a wife break? Yan Wei, how do husbands often break this commandment, and wives too? To each other. See, big hint, right? To each other. Oh no, the secret is out. You don't like the food. Oh, very bad, very salty, very burnt. Oh, so nice. Then turn me up go to the sink or drink water. Yes, that is a fact. But do you need to be, wow, this is so terrible, so lousy food. You don't need to be that also, right? Be tactful, right? A bit saltish, but next time maybe not so salty. Be honest. Okay, be honest. That's a good example. But something that's very serious. Alex, I think Alex knows the answer. When we fail to keep... Very good. When we fail to keep the marriage vows. We took our vows to our wives. Wives, you took your vow to your husband. And it is witness before God and man, correct? It's in the church. So many people are bearing witness to you. Bearing witness. I will love, cherish, in sickness and in health. And then the wife, I will submit, I will obey. But have we been keeping that? Breaking our vows is bearing false witness. Remember that. Every time you fail as a husband, you fail as a wife, that is bearing false witness. Okay, those getting married. Well, I see Ellen. All right, getting married, Ellen. So, how? What are you going to do when you take the vow? With all intention to obey. Okay? Those who are married, go back and evaluate our lives. Have we not been keeping our vows? Have we? If not, we need to repent, because every day that we do not keep our vows as husband, every day we do not keep our vows as wives, of what the marriage should be, every day we are bearing false witness. Those who intend to get married, when you take your vows, take it with a full intention to keep it fully. Okay? Now, so it means that commandment number 9 is broken when we take vows without the intention to keep it. I repeat, lying is when you take vows lightly without the intention to keep it. That's why God says, let your words be few. God is in heaven, we are on earth. Every time we take a vow, and this vow, marriage vow, is before God, before the congregation, you better know what you're vowing, right? So both of Angeline and Ellen, Sujin and Shuning, take the vow with very deep understanding and with full commitment by the help of God to keep it. Don't take vows lightly. Mom, I promise that I finish this, I will do this. Dad, I promise that if you, and then I will. But in your heart, no, I don't intend to. Everyone start dinner already, still playing. But I'm coming, without intention to keep what you're saying. Right? So be very careful. All these are small things that we commit all the time. But we think that lying is outward lying. No, it's saying things that you don't intend to do is lying. So common with working people. Just tell boss yes lah. Just tell him yes first lah. Tell pastors. Just tell pastor, okay. But you don't intend to keep it. Right? Same as children. Yes, just tell mommy this, tell daddy that. Then get them off our backs. And stop nagging me. That is lying. Right? That is lying. So say what you mean what you say. That is your nay, be nay, your yea, be yea. Okay? Now what about church? In church, Ichung, how do we break commandment number 9 in church?
When we don't fulfill our baptism vows and membership vows.
Very good. There's baptism vows, right? You made baptism vows. What are some of your baptism vows? That I will, by God's help, as much as possible, as long as there's no reason why I should not be in church, to study God's word, to serve among His people, and to participate actively in church, to contribute to God's kingdom, correct? So those are vows, you vow that you will come for prayer meetings, you vow that you will actively serve the Lord, you vow all this, but without intention to keep it, right? I just want to be church member. Not church member how? If not a church member, if I die, no one bury me. Why do people think like that? We'll bury you. Okay, we will. Just to be a church member. So when you take vows, be very serious. You go back and re-look at, anyone who wants your baptism vow, your marriage vow, your membership vow, just write to me, I'll send to you. Re-look at it. And then ask myself, God, oh no, God, I've been lying all this while. I did not keep my vows. Breaking commandment number 9 all the time. How else? All right, and one of the vows is to obey the church leadership. The church leaders make decisions. Sometimes you may not fully understand why, but there are many background reasons. But if it doesn't suit you, you get angry. I don't want to obey the church. How else can you disobey? How else can you be constantly breaking this vow as a church member? Adrian, how else? Or even as a church leader especially. How do church leaders break this commandment? Not sure. Hannah? Say something but don't mean it, don't intend to do it. Example how? Alex? Bearing false witness, how? Bad testimony, yes. Bad testimony, we promise not to disrupt the church cause disunity in the church, corrupt others, so bad testimony can corrupt others. How else? Yan Wei is thinking very hard. How? And this is very common. Let me tell you, this is so common, how church men break commandment number 9. Not serving God faithfully, definitely yes. Okay, ask deacons. How can a deacon entering deacon office, elder entering elder office, pastor entering pastoral office commit this sin? Take a vow to serve the Lord, but not fully intending to keep it? Yes. But now one of the things that we've been studying in Ephesians is what? Church unity, correct? Okay, so now you get the idea. Ignatius, how? You recently became associate member. So how? And I interviewed you and I keep asking you certain things. Don't remember already? What's the question? Yes. Are you listening? Okay, maybe my question is not clear. There's one thing that is very common that church members do, that church leaders do. And during the interview, the board will interview you very aggressively, very clearly, make sure you truly believe and understand. The doctrines of the church, very important, the doctrines of the church. No one should ever join church membership if you do not agree with the doctrines of the church. Because you're going to come out and you take a vow, right? I fully embrace and am convinced and will practice and will promote the beliefs of the church, correct? So you take vows. You cannot come up, take those vows, but in your heart, no, I don't believe and I don't intend to keep. That is why we interview you. We teach you BBK for a year. I don't think there is churches that teach BBK for a year. We go into deep details about everything that we believe in. How we interpret scriptures. If you do not believe in infant baptism, we believe in that, we practice that. So you have to understand what it is. You don't have to become a member. If you do not believe, you do not understand yet. Until you understand, until you believe, then be a member, because you will take a vow, correct? And the worst thing is church leaders, hey, I want to be deacon, you know. I want to be elder, you know. Never mind lah. When I become elder, I can help the church, right? I become deacon, I can serve. I will help the church. So never mind lah what they believe. I just go out and vow. Yes. Take vows very seriously. It is bearing false witness. God stands there and says, what? God looks at your heart, but you don't believe. We believe in the 1,000 years of Christ's physical rule on earth. Most Presbyterians don't. That's why we are Bible-Presbyterians. So we explain, we use scriptures, we explain in detail until you understand. So do not take a vow and be church leader. I have known of church leaders who repeatedly say in church, I did not believe in the beliefs of the church. Reverend Joseph, why must you force me? Someone made me an elder, right? Why must you force me to believe? That is the worst thing to say. It is, I don't even know how a person can respect himself saying that. Are you saying that I never believe, I went up and I lied that I believe? How can you do that? Right? So be very serious about this. If you don't believe, take your time. That's why we do not force anyone to be members. You never ever hear me come up, why don't you be a member? It is your choice, because I do not want you to lie against your conscience. Right? That is very important. You can be a worshiper. You can continue in our midst. We welcome you. No need to force yourself to lie about something that you don't believe in. And then people may say, but I don't believe in infant baptism. But never mind, I will not say anything. I will even hold the bowl for you. Right? But remember here, we read, false impression. False impression. You stand up there as a leader, everyone thinks you believe, but false impression, I don't. So be very honest. Now, this is not a playing matter. This can affect church unity. That's why lying is a very serious thing. Giving wrong impression, taking vows, be very serious about it. Membership includes vow taking. Parents who are going to infant baptize their children this round. One day you may have children. make sure you truly understand and believe and will practice what you will do after your child is infant baptized. It's not to save them. Definitely be very clear. So we interview the recent couples for a very long time, make sure that they understand and that they will keep their commitment, right? So Deacon Eugene, how did you become a deacon before that? Make you write so many papers, right? Make you write so many papers about your personal conviction, about the beliefs of the church, the practices of the church. Because we do not want anyone to serve without clear conscience. You'll be lying. Right, so these are serious problems that the Christian must be very, very careful about. Now, someone asked, what is the difference between psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs? Someone also asked, can we just have instrumental music? Can we worship God with instrumental music?